So about 11:15 this morning, we received a number of calls for shots fired at the Columbia Mall. We had officers quickly get into the area, and we were able to identify 3 victims at an upper-level store in the Columbia Mall. One of those victims appears to be the shooter, and at this point, and again, please bear with me, this is 2 hours and 15 minutes into the incident. There's still a lot of details we need to confirm, but right now we think that one of the deceased is in fact the shooter. We do not think there's any, at this point, that there's any more shooters in or around the mall. We are going through a process right now, and please think about this on a Saturday afternoon at the mall, how many people may be in there. When something like this happens, people run in many directions, and they also do what actually we've trained people to do, and that's to shelter in place. So right now, we have many people still in the mall that have secured themselves inside stores. Our SWAT teams, with a lot of support from agencies throughout the state, at the local, state, and federal level, frankly, are going through, as we are holding this press conference, they are inside continuing to clear that mall to make sure there are no more victims. We do not think there are, but we want to make sure there are not. And to get those people that have self-sheltered in place out and make sure none of them have any injuries, either from the shooting. Again, we don't think there are any, but also any injuries that may have occurred in that process, that panic when people do shelter. So that's what is going on actively behind me in the mall as we are out here. We do not have the identity of the victims yet. We do not have a motive for the shooting. Again, this is 2 hours and 15 minutes into the scene. We are still trying to secure the mall to make sure, again, that there's nobody else injured. And then we are getting our investigators into that crime scene to start doing their work, which will enable me to answer some of those many questions you have that, frankly, I just can't answer right now because I don't have the information. So I'll take a few questions, but before I do, let me again thank the Columbia Mall, who has been nothing but a fantastic partner. We have a great relationship with them and have drilled on this in the past, and that experience has been very beneficial to us. We'd like to thank again our public for their patience. We have disrupted a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people at home concerned about the well-being of their family who may be at the mall. We understand that, and that's why we're working as quickly as we can to identify those victims so that we can give people a peace of mind. We understand that. And I'd also, again, like to thank all the support we've had from law enforcement and emergency management and fire departments, again, local, state, and federal level. And I'll take a few questions.
Can you describe
yes.
Can you provide the genders at least?
I cannot provide the genders or the ages.
Have you recovered a weapon?
I'm sorry?
Police Chief, can you describe where this exactly happened in the food weapons?
I didn't say it was at the food court. I said it was the upper level of the mall at a store. I'm not going to identify which store that is right now. And when you're again, we have not gotten our investigators in there to identify all that yet.
Is there a sense that there was a domestic issue involved here?
As I said earlier, we don't know a motive yet, and I appreciate the question. I understand the interest in it. Please understand what we're trying to deal with. Our investigators haven't got a chance to get there to identify people yet to even go to a motive. Yes, sir. Yes,
You have been speaking to witnesses. Do they give an indication of there was an argument, there was an altercation, these are people that somehow knew each other, or a random event where somebody pulled a gun and started shooting?
Yeah, I don't have that information yet. Our investigators are still talking to witnesses, and I just don't have that information yet. We are very confident that it was a single shooter, that there's no other shooters in the mall or anything like that.
Was he engaged by police officers?
Yes, sir.
Did law enforcement fire in this at all?
We have not.
Can you describe the scene as you understand it? The mall is 11:15. Did this shooting happen where there were a lot of people around? We've had people tell us they saw people drop.
It was in a store in the upper level of the mall. You know how many people, I'm sure, are in this mall on a Saturday afternoon. It's a chaotic scene. I don't have all the particulars about where people were when this happened. And we will get that to you as quickly as we can. Believe me, I understand the importance of those questions, and we will get them to you as soon as we can.